Hello, everybody. This is Troy Parkins. Happy summer. I am here with
Janna Troy, your friendly hypnotherapist.
And it is summertime, as you can see by our attire. You're looking bright and beautiful as always, Ms. Janna, and I love the color. I love turquoise.
I have a lot of turquoise. It's one of my most favorite colors, and I see it there in your Hawaiian shirt as well.
It's there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
We always are on that same page
and we don't ever call each other and say, so what are you wearing?
No.
We just show up like this. It's just
exactly. Viewers out there, what did in Saturday Night Live Hans and Franz used to say, hear me now, believe me later, or what was that little thing they said? Hear me now and believe me later. We do not coordinate our clothes. That's probably a pretty bad accent. Zach tells me that I have the worst accents ever. So
when your teenage children tell you that you're doing something terribly wrong, you know to just keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Zing. Yeah. I love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I like that. And you know, it is summer. Summer is coming up. The solstice is coming up on the 21st. That's like in a couple weeks. And following that, we were just talking about this, Janna, is the strawberry moon.
And he had me at strawberries. We were just talking about it, and I didn't hear anything about the moon or anything. I was just strawberries.
I love strawberries. Do you like to?
I always assumed my third child would be made of strawberries because that was what I craved when I was pregnant with him. And there was a strawberry field on my way home, little stand, all the little rows of strawberries planted behind. And I would get an entire a big half flat of strawberries and eat half of that thing. It was like 2-3 pints of strawberries in the car on the way home before the rest of them even made it to the fridge.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Zach's mom ate jelly donuts. So, you know, and it's so funny because he's really skinny. So he's not like a big jelly donut. I don't know. So, but strawberries and Strawberry Fields Forever, which is an awesome Beatles song, one of my favorite Beatles songs.
Yes.
It's good. So, strawberries, full moons, summer solstice. It is summer. I've been getting lots of questions about stress. They want me to ask how does Janna deal with stress? What are her tips on stress? So this episode of HypnoTalk is going to be dedicated to how to bust our summer stress. Now, I would think summer is supposed to be fun, like, you know, right? Summer vacation, warm weather, chill out, do nothing, don't think about things. However, this is a different summer. This is the summer after a 1.5 year long pandemic. This is a summer where kids haven't been in school, so it's like they're still at home anyway. Maybe some financial things going on with people, that perhaps this is more of a stressful summer than most summers in the past history. So, Janna, what do you have to say about summer stress busting?
If we would take Janna's approach to stress, and you could have a little hidden video camera on me as I go through my stressful moments, everyone would laugh their asses off and probably never take my advice again. However,
well, what would that look like?
That being said, well, I am at a distinct advantage in that I am by nature and by nurture an incredibly stressed out person, which is part of why I went into this line of work, you know, to help myself. And still, I found myself being very stressed recently. And I know other people are stressed. And the same things that we got used to worrying about over the last 1.5 years are the same typical things that may perhaps come up over the summer, like I can't afford to go on a vacation. I can't take any time off work, or I don't know what's going to happen. Stuff is all related around the unknown and unanswered questions. And that tends to cause a false belief system that we can pick up. We pick it up like a virus, no pun intended. But this virus called a false belief system that says, as soon as I know that I'm going to be stable enough, well enough, have enough money, have enough time, and all the rest of it, then I can relax. And it's mental constructs. They're not real. They feel real, and they can fill our mind with so many busy thoughts that it gives the illusion that we have such a busy life. They also, summer is all about changing up your routine. You're going to push your laptop aside and go out, maybe go to the beach, or go, like when we were kids, it's like, okay, homework time is over. Let's go outside and play. And people are still grasping for stability. It's like, oh, no, I can't go outside and play. You don't understand. And you may have a list of very logical reasons why you can't go outside and play, or you can't take that vacation. But I'm here to tell you that they're all bullshit. Thank you very much. No, I don't know your life, but if it's anything like mine, there's so many worries and yeah buts and what ifs that we get addicted to, habitually wondering about, all those unanswered questions.
So you just nailed it right there. It's a very ongoing theme with our HypnoTalks. If blank happens, then I'm okay. If this happens, then I can relax. But that's never the case, as we've talked about in the past. Now, you bring up a really, really cool point. When we were kids, when we were little maniacs on a mission, we would just wake up, off we go. So how? People want to know, how do we recapture this spirit of youth that I remember every June 8th or whatever the first week in June was, when there was no more school, I would throw all my papers up in the air and I was off like a shot out of a cannon. So how do we get this spirit back for people?
I say jump. It's like holding your nose and jumping into the deep end of a really cold swimming pool. You're not going to be ready to have fun. You're not going to just randomly stop worrying first. You need to jump into some idea, like schedule a vacation or plan something that you're committed to, that you can't back out of, that you're not going to back out of. Then let yourself have a full body freak out. Full body freakouts are the best way to get rid of full body freakouts, but you have to notice the freaking out first. And then you can remember, God, I've felt this way so many times. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And then there's ways we can work with it. There's steps of working with it that we can do together, but it involves becoming less about mental figuring it out and more about observation of, oh, there's that really ugly feeling. There's that same old stress again, that I might lose my job or I might not have enough money. There's that same thing that I don't want to deal with this or that, or I'm not going to have enough time to get everything done. There's that same worrying about the future and trying to plan my life, that feeling. How many times has that feeling derailed my peace? And then it's making a declaration and a commitment that enough is enough. I'll try to be brief. You know me and brevity don't particularly go hand in hand.
Hey, you're very brief, Janna. These are only 30 to 40-minute shows. So, when we do the Hallmark version where it's like three-hour episodes, then, you can.
Yeah. No, I got stressed out by the heat where I live. It's the face of the fucking sun here. I don't like it. There is nothing more futile than resistance to weather. Okay?
True
Here
that.
I'm telling people don't have resistance to anything. And I realized it was layered. It was more than that. I didn't want the heat because I had just made up my mind to revamp my air conditioning in my house. I had hired a contractor. I had signed a contract. I had written a deposit check. And I was having the next day, Monday morning, quarterbacking thoughts about why did I do that? I just committed all this money. So my whole internal, I'm going to be broke and destitute when I'm 80 conversation started up. Now, this is a habitual bullshit tape that has nothing to do with reality. It has everything to do with change and questions about my future. Will I be okay when I'm 80, when I'm 90, when I'm 100? And it just, that any sort of I'm going to dip into my nest egg and do a big home improvement project with it was a big unanswered question. You're never going to have a guarantee that things are going to be okay. But I had decided to enjoy this summer. I wanted to have my house comfortable. With a house that's comfortable, I can enjoy my life. I can do art projects in the house. I can do all sorts of stuff in the house that I want to do. And without it, I'm going to be going on 10 years of misery in this house when it's too hot. But what came up for me was a resistance to the weather, which started up, maybe I shouldn't have decided to revamp my AC. Maybe I should have moved back to the beach where I came from. But that's not practical. And so I had changed my mind about that, not done that. But it's a whole way of second guessing, like as though the quote unquote right decision for my future is only going to go one way and that everything else is a mistake. So it started up an old habit of I hate the weather. And I know the way to go is I love the weather. I love all weather. I can find beauty in a more desert-like climate where I live. There's all sorts of benefits to it. I can have a really nice, cool house now. There's all sorts, I can be okay with it and drop resistance, but I have to put this constant questioning and second guessing myself to rest. Otherwise, every moment is stressed about the weather. And I found that I would whip up my phone and check the weather 10 times a day or more. As though if only it were cooler, then I would be happy.
So that was like your full body freak out then.
Yes. And it started about, well, it's the weather. It's nothing more than the weather. Super hot weather sucks. Well, that's bullshit. That was what the story I was telling myself. And I had money fears and future concerns about my retirement and my well-being were all tied up into this. And it was easier to just freak out about the weather. If it wasn't for the weather, I wouldn't be spending the money on the AC. So
the weather was your scapegoat. You tagged that weather. Boom.
Right. So then it's just noticing that every time my whole life I've made a financial decision, it's not about whether I have the money, don't have the money. My subconscious mind will say you don't have the money. Now, back in the days where I was married to the goose that laid the golden egg, I had money, but my mind still did that. So I know it's my mind. Well, what if he dies? Well, what if we don't have a will? Well, what, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's all, I'm here to tell you guys, it's all mental bullshit. And our minds tell us that it's real and that we should worry that we're too busy to go to the beach, that we don't have enough money to put AC in our house, that if we do this, we have to sacrifice that. And it's not true. There was nothing to do except sign a piece of paper, put a few dates in a calendar,
Well,
move
and
some money
come to
around, and
peace.
that's all. It took, the whole thing would take 5 minutes, but I turned it into a month-long worry fest.
What got you to the point of creating results was that in yourself, you came to the realization that this is all bullshit. This is just a story.
Yeah.
And then you were able to move forward. I love that you went through and actually talked and showed us what a full body freakout looks like. Because I was going to ask you that. Because, yeah, that's what I would think. There's like this Fortnite dance called Orange Justice where the guy freaks out like that. I would think it's like that. But really, it's mental, right? The full body freakout is.
Or it's zoning out. Then suddenly your energy level goes. Do you notice that, you guys? Like your energy level goes and you're watching TV, or you're on your phone, or you're playing a video game, or you're just wasting time on social media, or you're binge watching a whole bunch of stuff. And then the mind has to come up with justifications. This is all avoiding these phantom fears. So the way out is to notice you're doing it and to allow yourself to feel really uncomfortable without the mind participating. I love to feel really uncomfortable for a few minutes, because then I get to realize I felt that same type of uncomfortable so many times and I'm over it. So after I signed the contract with these people, I woke up the next morning and I felt the full body freak out coming on. And I was like, oh, hell no, we're not doing that again. I signed the goddamn contract. I'm not going to go back and Monday morning quarterback myself one more time. I've been doing that for 50, 60 years. I'm not going to do that right now. And so then it was like, and the mind went, let's go watch TV, or let's eat, or whatever it does. And I'm like, nope. And I started to realize that I've wasted a lot of time looking at the weather, worrying about money, worrying about this, worrying about that, worrying about the other thing. And it's all mental noise.
I think you just created a new tagline, Janna, and it's going along our ticker down here. I'd like to put our really good knowledge points down
and
there.
Quit
Eliminate
justifying.
Yes.
Justifying the phantom fears, because we'll go, well, how do I know it's a phantom fear, right? Aren't you saying that right now? Nod your head. Yes, everybody. How do I know it's a phantom fear? I mean, really, there are such thing as real problems. And there aren't. There are situations that need to be dealt with. That's all there are. There are simply situations that need to be dealt with. Fear does not need to be any part of it.
And remember what they say, right? Oh my God, that's so hard. Nothing's hard. This is hard. But
well, yeah, rocks are hard and water is wet. Is that what you're referring to? Yeah. And we will, the only thing that thinks it's hard is the mind and the phantom fear construct. So be easy on yourself when you start to go, yeah, but it really is hard. Yeah, but I really don't know what to do. Yeah, but go easy on yourself and just notice that propensity to do that.
Yes.
And go, what would my life be like? Well, it'd be risky, wouldn't it? My thing is, if I let myself spend my nest egg, who's to say I'm going to stop at air conditioning? The next thing it's another car, and the next thing I'm going to buy a second home, and the next thing I'm going to do this and this and this, and pretty soon I'm not going to have a nest egg.
Well, you'll have a lot of cool stuff.
I will. And you know what?
And a hell of a ride to get there.
Yeah. And sometimes we've held ourselves back for so long from running out in the summer and having fun. This started out with summer. I don't want to get too far off that. But maybe it's that vacation you want to take. But the pragmatic part of your brain says no. What got me out of it was our old mantra. Oh, what the fuck? Go for it anyway. And that I put into hypnosis for myself.
Ooh.
So every time I started to even have this littlest bit of resistance to what the decision I had just made, which meant I wanted to start thinking about it again and ruin another day.
You said,
and veg out on the couch to try to avoid the stress. I went, nope, we're going for it anyway. And it was like such a relief to go, no, I don't care if I'm homeless. I'm not going to go through this stupid, ridiculous stress one more second. I'm done. I'm going to have fun now.
Yeah.
Because we could get run over by a bus tomorrow. Go to the beach. Have a good time. Most of us are not going to die if we make a change to our routine. And now we've gotten into a routine of having to make up for lost clients, make up for whatever it is we've, with our kids. Even the kids are feeling like there's this big conversation out there in the world that says it's not as effective on Zoom classrooms as it was in person. What a destructive internal conversation is that. And I'm pissing off all the parents right now because they'll say, well, it is so less effective. My little Johnny and Susie haven't learned anywhere near as much on Zoom as they would have in the classroom. And I call bullshit on that.
I do too. And you don't have to walk uphill both ways to have hardship.
So our achievements are not the joy in our life. Back during the crash of 2008, I think it was Susie Orman did it. It might have been somebody else, but it was some financial spokesperson. And on the radio, what she was saying was, spend your money on experiences. Spend your time on experiences. That doesn't mean preparing for your future. It means getting together with your family and having a meal together. It means going out to dinner to celebrate somebody's birthday. It means going to the beach and running around and having a good time. I think about the little kids during the Depression that didn't even have shoes, but they were out there swimming in their swimming holes barefoot, Tom Sawyer style. They were out there having fun. There's no cost to play, and we need to reset and reschedule some time for play. Play is really important. Play that isn't associated with anything else. Play that makes you put your work on hold, even though the house may not get clean that week or the groceries may not get done. And make some time. Make that be the priority. Make the experiences that you're going to remember for the rest of your life be the priority, not the perceived issues and obstacles that you think you need to overcome. And it might feel a little irresponsible. When I dipped into my nest egg, it felt a little irresponsible, but it's not. It's a sign of confidence. And it's also a sign of worthiness and self-worth that you deserve. I deserve to have a house that's comfortable to live in. And I deserve to spend time. I went out sailing today all day. My house is a wreck. The laundry did not get done today, you guys. But I deserve to be out on a boat.
Yeah.
We want to make it a priority.
Very good point, Janna. And in my coaching with my clients, I actually think it's as important as creating intentions for your career or your romantic relationship. Create intentions for yourself and taking care of yourself. That's one of the, I mean, without you, it doesn't matter what your career aspirations are.
Yeah.
So, we have a question. Janna, we have a question. This is the question. The person says, summer brings out lots of stresses for me, and it revolves around my beach body. My beach body isn't ready. How do I overcome this? It's always been like this. Help. 2 exclamation points.
Okay. I love the question. I love the question. So imagine that I would say probably for most of our lives, our beach body isn't ready. I mean, my beach body's been ready a few times. I have an ideal weight and fitness level, right? That when I hit that goal, I feel confident at the beach, as do you. So let's take my story of 2 neighbors. Let's imagine each one of them needs to lose the same amount of weight. It doesn't matter if it's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, or 110 pounds. Oh, Angelica, honestly, really? You're going to bark now? So they both decide to take their kids to the beach this summer.
Mm-hmm.
They're both the same basic number of pounds. They both have decided they want to lose. One says, I'm not comfortable taking this cover up off until I lose the weight. So I'm just going to sit here with my cover up on. And the other one says, fuck it, I'm going to take this cover up off and I'm going to run around and play and I'm going to let the fat jiggle and I'm going to have fun. Now, when they're 100 and they're on their deathbed, the one who said, I'm going to wait till my body is perfect to have fun, has had fun at the beach about 2% of the times she's gone to the beach, because it's about 2% of the time that our beach bodies look good, right? The rest of the time we're insecure. But the woman who said, screw it, I'm going to have fun, and I am sick and tired of this mental construct that says I don't deserve to have any fun at the beach unless I'm perfect. She's going to have a richness of memories of running around making sandcastles with her kids, playing in the water, enjoying her friends, having an amazing time. We don't need to be hard on ourselves in order to lose weight. There's no correlation. The perfectionist sitting there all covered up does not lose weight quicker. And when she does lose the weight, it's coming from, that's an eating disordered or exercise disordered mentality. I know because I had eating disorders before they were even called things. We used to call it willpower back in the 60s. Now they call it anorexia. And I had that. And I was really good at losing weight for all the wrong reasons. But we want to embrace this idea of excellence. Excellence is the one who's running out there playing unselfconsciously, because I guarantee you it takes one hell of a lot more courage to do that. And to take a stand for who you are and say, I deserve to have fun. And I love my body so much that I'm going to take it to the beach and I'm going to let it run around and play and get some sunshine and exercise and pleasure in life. And then I'm going to take it home and I'm going to make sure I buy the most delicious fresh fruits and veggies and the most wonderful food that's good for my body. And I'm only going to put the sort of food in my body that shows that I love my body. Now that's a different mental shift than the other person who's saying, okay, fat ass, you're not eating for a month. You're going to do keto. do we need to have the keto conversation? Because I would like to take everyone on the keto diet and absolutely smack one over the head with the other. The type of
I love that.
mentality it takes to do that is about, it's not about loving yourself. It's about the fear of loss of control.
Hey, which is the keto one? Is that the one where you can eat a bunch of fat, or is that the one where
Yes.
you can hardly eat anything?
It's all fat and protein and no carbs. It's sort of like Atkins was.
Oh, yeah. See, I got to have my French fries, man. I can't not have my In-N-Out
they're not
French
even
fries.
supposed to have like carrots or stuff like that. Like no bananas or oranges or watermelon.
So what I'm hearing are, if you're on the keto diet or whatever you're on, that you're doing that to lose a bunch of weight so that you can go out and, you know, feel better about yourself on the beach.
Yeah.
It's not going to work because there's probably going to be something else that comes up and something else that comes up, and it's not sustainable. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's right. And now we're getting into lost in the weeds. I am still not all for just eating junk food all the time, but if I love my body, I'm gonna eat a lot of whole. If I'm gonna do carbs, it's gonna be whole grains. It's gonna be very nutritious, delicious, aromatic, beautiful tasting fresh fruits and vegetables. And it's going to be something that nature has decided is a gift. I'm not going to sit there and look at a gift that nature has provided like that. It's like looking a gift horse in the mouth. You don't do that. If you're doing that and you're saying, no, I gotta restrict this, and this, now we're in a different mind shift. So it's less about what you eat. It's less about how many hours you exercise. And it's more about the spirit in which you're doing it. Are you doing it because you love your body, or are you doing it because you hate your body? So when you don't have a beach body readiness, it could be that you have extra stress, that you're, the body is converting, high in cortisol, things like that. There could be a stress. Usually for people, there's stress. So one of the things you can ask yourself is, when I'm hungry, do I want a carrot? Would I eat one? Would I eat an apple right now? Is that something that I want? And when the answer is no, now we have a wonderful wealth of information called, no, it's an emotional eating thing. Now we can start to look at what triggered it. What were you just thinking about 2 seconds before you had to run to the kitchen? Now we can, so there's a stress mindset hypnosis. Well, I use hypnosis as the modality after we're on the same page with these concepts, then hypnotizing them in. But in general, I want people to get out and play. And it takes courage to get out and play and say, you know what? I'm enough. I don't have to look like her or him or them. I'm enough. And when our mind starts to convince us that, oh, we're not good enough, it's just an old program that's trying to help us fit in. We probably came up with it in junior high school. Or maybe we heard our mom do that when she looked at herself in the mirror when we were kids. And we watched somebody else do that. So we want to, nobody meant to fuck us up mentally. They actually they were fucked up too. So we just picked it up from them. Just like my kids have picked up every quirk I've ever had. And some of them are really, really, my poor children. Everyone say a prayer for my children. But it's like,
hey, it's the context that we all grow up in. It could be the era that we grow up in. We have stuff going on because we're human beings. Yeah. It could be a cultural, nationality type thing. It could be country. It could be where we live in the world.
Yeah. I'm in a group that does a lot of ocean and beach activities. I swim in the ocean every Saturday morning. We go for a couple of miles, and we are all ages. We are all weights. We are all ethnicities. We are all friends. We do a lot of laughing and mutual support of each other. It's wonderful. And what I love about that group is there isn't anyone who's, at least that I see, that thinks they need to look like a Barbie doll. Am I dating myself by saying Barbie doll? But who
I
needs
don't
to
know.
look
Barbie
like
still
that to
exists.
participate? Nobody
Mm-hmm.
says that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is just, they they just do what they do. We're out there. That's why there's a beach, so that we can splash around in it and get salty. That's why it's there.
Yeah, let's go. Love it.
And it's healing. You can, I've heard, there's theories of positive ions and all that sort of thing that actually are mood elevating. Troy would probably be able to talk more about that.
You're right. It is the ionization, and that happens at the beach.
Tell me more about that, because I've heard that, but that's like, that statement is
So,
all I know
yeah,
about.
do you remember in the 70s when they had those little ionizers that would ionize your air?
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's basically all that's doing, it's recreating the energy at near a ocean, right?
Okay.
So you have your oxygen there, you have your hydrogen, oxygen going, sunshine's hitting it. You have all these chemical reactions going, and that smell you smell when you go to the ocean, that is ionized. So it's basically like an oxygen molecule, an ionized oxygen molecule getting kicked off of either a water molecule or hydrogen or something like that. So that's why when you have those ionizing things that they had like back in the 70s, I actually haven't seen those recently, but I don't know. But if you smelled the air coming out of them, it smelled as if you were at the beach.
Yeah. And my son, number 3 child, one of my kids, has had an undiagnosed intestinal pain. And when he is in the ocean, it goes away. And he can be up all night in pain. And it's something that we're still trying to work out what triggers it. But when he's in the ocean, it goes away. I had migraines for years, and I've lowered my stress to the point where they're minimal now. But when I used to get them frequently, when I go in the ocean, they go away. It's being there. It's having your toes in the sand. It's smelling the smells and breathing the air. And if you're listening to this and you're in some landlocked area, I'm sorry, but the same could be said of a lake. I spent 5th grade in Michigan, and we were on Lake Huron. That lake is magical. If you live anywhere near the Great Lakes, you know that already. If you live near any sort of a water, river, lake, ocean, get out there and get in it. Go for the walks in nature. Be outside. I've had too much sun. I put sunscreen on. We were out sailing today. It almost doesn't matter how much sunscreen I put on. It's not enough. But
well, you don't look red. You look good. It looks like
the summer's only started, and I've gotten to the point where, if I wrinkle more, and it's going to be through participation.
There you go.
And that helps me. I'd love to have perfect skin, but I would rather participate. So I'm going to do what I can do. I put on kind of a pretty heavy zinc oxide based sunscreen. I look pretty silly. I look kind of like a ghoul when I'm outside. But,
cool. I want to see that. Selfie.
I don't have it on right now.
Let's
I'm in the shade at home. I washed it off, but
you bring up a good point though.
If I get more sun damage on my body because I'm out, and I'm going to do what I can to protect it, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to participate.
Good. Well,
And that's really the theme, I think, for summer stress, is just participate in the stuff that you really wish you could do. Doesn't have to be expensive. When I was a kid, we went camping. It wasn't expensive. I know camping is more expensive now, but there's things you can do that aren't expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And the correlation with fun isn't there. You know, there's not like a correlation from an expensive vacation is more fun than a cheap vacation. It's not like that. Look at your life, you guys. Think of the best moments you've ever had, the best trips you've ever taken, the most fun you had on those trips. And it's about the experiences and whom you were with. It has nothing to do with how much you spent.
I love that. And you literally just read my mind, because we always leave people with tips. The tip, I was going to say, Janna, what tip would you give? But you literally just said it. Just participate in what you like doing, or even what you liked doing when you were a kid in the summer that perhaps you haven't done. Yeah. So I know what I'm doing, Janna. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to run out and I'm going to go to the park that just opened up, by the way. They took all the yellow tape off of it because, hey, COVID, we're opening things back up. I'm going to go on a swing because I loved going on swings. Woo! So is that the tip I'm hearing? Do you endorse that tip? Not just me going on a swing, but others.
Tip. I absolutely do. I was talking to one of my clients the other day. She came in and they had been out roller skating, and she hadn't been roller skating for years. And she said it was so much fun. You know, she took her daughter and her husband had rollerblades and they went out and they had such a good time. So whatever, just anything that's participating. And I wish I know who asked that question about Beachbody. You go to the beach, I guarantee this will happen to you. You go, okay, Janna said go participate. I'm going to go out there and I don't give a shit if I look like a beach whale. I'm going to throw this cover up off. And then you do it and you're like, oh, I feel like shit. That didn't work. What the hell? When you have that feeling, notice how many times you've had that feeling in your life. And go to war with the feeling, not with the fat. That feeling does not get to be that's the mental conversation that says, I don't get to feel good unless I'm perfect. Well, it's a risk, because if we let ourselves off the hook and go out and play, where's our motivation going to come from to lose the weight, right? It's going to start to come from a new place called I care enough about myself to treat myself like royalty and only feed myself the best food in the portions that make my tummy happy, not stuffed. I'm going to spend extra money on fruits and veggies and make sure I have a variety of the most decadent, delicious foods that nourish my body. I'm going to get out in the fresh air and sunshine. And if I love my body, I'm going to exercise just enough to feel great, not enough to turn it into a fear of drudgery.
Well said.
Or compulsion. And
I will also quote you. You said this earlier. Excellence over perfection. Excellence over perfection.
And excellence, you know which one it is, because it's the one that's about unbridled participation. Jumping in with both feet. Saying, oh, what the fuck, go for it anyway.
Maniacs on a mission.
Maniac on a mission, Mr. Troy.
You're going to see, people are going to see me swinging and, oh my God, who's that guy on the swing?
Yes.
He looks like a maniac on a mission.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, peace, that's for sure. So.
If we don't come back next week because Troy has a concussion from falling off the swing, take back everything I just said.
Yeah, because I'm not going to wear my helmet because, you know, what maniac wears a helmet when he's swinging? Anyway, so we're going to wrap up with these thoughts in mind. Go for it. 2 feet in. Participate. The way to bust the summer stress is, what did you do when you were a kid? Because you possibly couldn't be stressed out when you were 5 years old. Now, there might have been one kid that was stressed out when he was 5 years old, but I make up 99.98% of kids were not stressed out. So what did you do when you were 5 years old? Do that now. That's the healing therapy. Janna, final words.
Go collect some shells.
Let's do it. Let's do it. As always, Janna, this was amazing. Lots of tips, lots of really, really good knowledge you were dropping for our listeners out there. Thank you all for watching, and thanks for the questions. And we do this every Sunday, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Peace
Peace
out.